And we're live. It's Whiskey Watches and Wheels. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
I'm Casey.
I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
And I am Matt. How we doing, fellas?
Peach.
Good.
Doing good. So we have decided tonight we're gonna go old school. We're gonna take it back a little bit. We're gonna talk about, the last several podcasts, there's been a lot in the car world. We've been talking about a bunch of cars and stuff, but we're gonna talk a little bit more tonight.
I think it's actually new that we're actually doing a podcast.
Well, this is true. We didn't do one last week because we had a two-parter the week before. So, but we're going to talk some watches tonight. We're going to talk a little whiskey tonight. So we're gonna do the trifecta, so to speak.
Let's go.
Where do we want to start? Yeah, where do we want to start?
Let's start with cars and racing.
Okay. Well, Kevin was at a race, so hit it, big dog. What you got going?
Went to HSR last Wednesday through Sunday. So I know, Matt, you have some pictures there. I'll kind of talk to you now. I got rid of a lot of pictures just because I don't keep pictures on my phone. But I'll give you guys some of the clip notes. It was surprisingly soft attendance. I think I talked to a lot of other people. There's an ITBS there with that's the Jägermeister 935.
Sweet
car. 30 to 40% of the people were there. You could definitely tell, even in the racers, a lot of empty spots in it. There's me, I don't know, pointing at a bird on top of my roof.
Kevin, can you move closer to your mic?
Yeah, like this. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. So one of my employees, Bert, and good friend of mine, he was asked if he could help out with Arnage Motorsports. That's what their business is. So their business is to basically be a race team. They support racers. So they bring cars to events and basically wrench on them. People store them.
Do they rent those cars or do they just maintain the racers' cars? Okay.
They are owned by people, either most of them are individuals, and they load them up on the trailer and bring motors, bring all their gear. It's kind of like
race support. I want
to say arrive and drive, but it's not really, because more arrive or drive is like you're just renting the car. These are actually people's cars. This particularly 944, I think, has 4 guys that are partners in this car. This little thing, man, just runs and runs and runs. But I learned a lot talking to Bert. There's I think Corey, George, Bert, and 2 other guys that were there, and then Corey's girlfriend. So that's all of the people that are supporting 4 different cars. This 944 was probably, that blew a transmission, and they went through like 205 gallons of gas at $14 a gas. $14 a gallon. I figure that's about.
What are they running? Like 100?
110.
Yeah.
Wow. I think. Even if it's 90, whatever it is, that was about $2,000 just in gas. The tires, we're just estimating, but probably $1,000 a set. They went through 4 sets of tires. Your oil, they're all using the green stuff.
Penn out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's off the top of my head. But anyways, they're using that oil. On the 911s, I believe it's 18 quarts of oil that they use in a sump. Yeah. So kind of dead, in my opinion. The facility, I've been doing this race for a very long time. You can definitely tell they were hurting for money because they were badgering people. I mean, it was dead. It was empty. Matt, go to the next picture.
How far do you think the attendance was down by?
60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I say 30 to 40%, that's the people that showed up. So probably 60%.
So
normally it's slam packed. They have a merchandise tent, no merchandise tent. I mean, you didn't have to wait in line for food.
What happened?
Economy.
Okay. Because last year you went and it was packed, correct?
Yeah. We showed up. They were badgering people in regards to so I always park in between. There's the Porsche plots and then there's bleachers, and then there's an empty space with one space for an RV. So we usually park there. We all have infield passes, and we camp there in our van or RV. I think Mark has a little canvas tent, but we've been doing it for years. And they literally like, nope, you got to pay for a camping pass. Or they told me I had to pay for an RV pass. And I said, no, I'm not paying for an RV pass because I pulled in this RV that our friends rented. And the guy was like, okay, well, you got to get a camping pass. I said, well, I don't have a tent. A tent camping. I said, I don't have a tent. Well, you have a awning. Okay, well, that's nice. And I was parked parallel to the fence. So then he started giving me crap. Well, you can't park that way. I said, well, I got 2 tickets, so that's technically 2 infield passes, so I could park it this way. I'm just utilizing my space, and we're sharing spaces. And he was just kind of like stone cold, just looking at me in my face, like I'm supposed to say something to him, and I just like, all right, and I just walk off because he was like not saying anything. So then me and Aaron walked down to the pits, and the guy was like, "Are you the one that they were?" Another security guard was like, "Are you the one complaining?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right over there." And he's like, "Some of these people just have nothing better else to do." So, we had another person that had a van, one of the West Phyllis Volkswagen vans. They made him pay $250 for an RV spot. Just ridiculous. And the security guy literally he was there till 11 o'clock. So he's probably pulling a 12, 13-hour shift. Parked his car or his little golf cart, and it was dead. You could park wherever you wanted, and it was amazing.
So how much is a camping pass?
I think probably $100. I don't know. I mean,
so it's just a money grab. They're just trying to get a money grab.
Or maybe 150 because the RV was $250. Our tickets were $75 for the 4 days, 75 or 90. I don't remember, but because I had bought them a year ago.
That's actually pretty reasonable, to be honest with you.
So they're losing their ass this year because the attendance is so far down. So they're going to gig the people that actually showed up. That's a good plan for next year.
Yeah, and it pissed off a lot of people. So I heard it's good. Last year for Rolex too was like that. And I think this year they always do it from what I've heard for Bike Week, where they take the camping area and they actually spray paint areas. Normally it's just kind of a free fall. You go into a camping area, but there's been so many problems where people arrive on a Wednesday and they take up.
You had that last year, correct?
Yeah. So I told my wife I really don't want to go because I don't want to deal with this. I mean, I will probably be forced to go, but I don't know. I may just show up and just show up in a car and go get a RV or stay in my house because I'm not dealing with the security guards there, and they're even more of pricks on Rolex. So we'll see, but go to the next. So this is them working on a car. That car right there, 98, blew a motor, $40,000 motor. They had to flush lines. That's Bert working. Bert's the guy with the beard working on the car. He was super happy. I never seen this guy move so fast and work. Like you could just tell. I mean, he does work, but he was just like, oh yeah, totally in his element. So he used to race cars for a living. So that's where we're at. So you can see where I'm parked. I have the awning.
Nice shoe.
And no one said I was a professional photographer. Yeah. So that's where we stay. Let's see here. You can see the empty parking spots. And so we actually got invited to a birthday party. So we were at the very top. But go to the next picture. I think I have a picture of Savannah. Yep. There you go. So all in the background, that's all those where the semis are at. That's normally completely filled. And you can see how much green is there.
Yeah.
I mean, really dead. So, I mean, I had a good time. It was
but
fine.
You were lacking energy, right? From missing all these people.
You definitely feel, and there weren't a lot of cars there neither as well. So I don't know, you just didn't get the feel for it. Because normally you go into pits. So the great thing about HSR is you can walk the pits at any time, whenever, just walk through. You get to see a lot of cool cars. Normally they have a display of old vintage cars like they do at Rolex. They've actually changed the rules. It used to be that you had to have some provenance. That car, from what I remember, had to been in a race before, a vintage race. At this point, there was Mini Coopers there. There's a Prelude, like an old second gen or third gen Prelude with an H22 motor in it. So
Just trying to put something
now. Right now, the IMSA owns, or the France family owns IMSA. I think literally, in my opinion, it's just a money grab because there's too many Coopers, R55s racing there, naturally aspirated. It used to be had to have a livery, had to have like I said, there was a lot of cool stuff there. And this year, the guy that was pretty cool. I don't know what it looked like, a 917, but it wasn't. It was Singer's factory car. It was a pink, and it was number 69. That guy was killing it. I mean, he was. They had some cool cars. I got to go in a couple cars, sit in them, start them up, look at the motors and how everything's set up. But I would figure for a 911 G body, I would think if you're not blowing a motor, probably $15,000-$20,000. That's gonna cost like that would for that weekend, because you got, and I'm talking. I mean, so we $2,000 for fuel, tires, another
$4,000, right?
$4,000, so that's $6,000. Plus you're paying these guys too. I don't know what he charges. Oil at
transportation,
$12 a quart, or $11 a quart. There's 18 quarts in it, and then all your little odds and ends, that's foods, all that stuff. So transportation, hotel, lodging, all that stuff. Plus I'm sure there's a cost attributed to race that
some
as well,
sort of entry fee,
and insurance. So if you decided to get insurance, so we'll take the insurance out of it, but that's probably one guy, he had 4 guys going into it. They probably cost them $10,000 a piece to run. And you get a little trophy, a plastic trophy. I saw it's like this big. Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know I do know there's contingencies. So money, I know if you won first place, you got tires for free. I don't know what class that was. Maybe if it was all of them or not.
Well, I can tell you this totally different level of racing, but when I was racing the bikes, they have contingencies, but it's like, for us, it would pay you $250, if you want to race.
And you had to have a decal on the bike, absolutely, and stuff like that. Right.
And so it was nothing. It was a drop in the bucket. It paid for your one rear tire for that race,
Yeah. So I think, and again, that's like if you podium or, in this particular case, I guess, I'm sure there's some other stuff, but I drove around looking for my little Moto Compacto, looked for a merch booth. None.
Really?
Wow.
I think there's actually one merchandise guy. He was the guy that's always there selling like NASCAR stuff. I think that was the only merchandise guy there that I saw.
Wow.
So it was scarce.
What did your boy Bert do for the most part?
He wrenched. So he filled tires, put gas in, changed tires, set up the car, put the car. I think he put in the transmission in the 944 with that. They all kind of helped when the one car was out. So you basically go in there and, the guy gets out, you pull all his stuff, get him out. And I mean, they get out on their own, but, undo everything and then, check the car out, making sure. I think they had to do some brake jobs and stuff like that. A lot of it's just tires, fuel, oil, warming up the car, making sure everything works. And then mechanics, as far as, I mean, if something breaks, that's when you got to get down and dirty. So I know there's a BMW E46, I think that was there. The one guy, a blue car, he got third place twice. I didn't think he had any problems with his car. Craig he blew his motor. So they had to do an R&R on that. And the other guy that with a 944, he blew his transmission. So they had and remember, most of these guys have a transmission and a backup motor. I don't think the 944 has a backup motor, but I know the G bodies do. So that's he had a good time. Definitely a lot of work, he said. I mean, it was. I mean, you're always when one guy's going out, another guy's coming in. I mean, I stayed a lot of time in the pits, just kind of hanging out because it was boring. There's nobody to talk to. Like normally when you go to these events, hey, how you doing? I've seen you in a long time. I talked to one guy, but you meet other people. There was nobody there.
How many races and classes are there?
That I don't know. I think there was probably, it's 24 hours, so there's probably like 8 or 9 classes.
I'm on their website right now because I don't know a lot about HSR, so I was doing some research. So There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 classes.
Okay.
And basically
sometimes they race 2 classes in one race because I was asking Bird about that. When you have too many cars that are the same speed, they can't pass and stuff like that. So they'll have 2 classes in a race. But it was racing all day long. I think they stopped normally at, say, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, except for on Saturday. That was 24 hours of racing. So you race like an hour and a half, 45 minutes, I think, and then the next heat comes on. So
yeah, and to your point, so there's 11 groups. These are not classes; these are groups. And then when you click on the group, it'll tell you, like, for instance, they had Vintage B production, Vintage C production, Vintage D, and it's a mixture of everything from Lotus to Alpha to everything. Porsche, Fiats are in there, Datsuns are in there, Daimlers are in there, Austin Healey, Volvo.
And it used to be such a cool race where, like I said, you could go and see so many different predominantly Porsches, but like you said, Cobras, just old stuff there. It was, like I said, probably down 60%. So
damn,
I know Rolex is going to be
it's a shame.
Popping because everybody's been. The Rolex, the RV places, the spots for RVs, I think they're like $1,500, right?
Wow.
People sell the spot though for $10,000 and up. So that's just for you, because once you have that spot, you just renew, and people put those spots on their wheels. You can wheel that spot. So
wow.
We have a friend that just bought one, spent $10,000 for the spot, and he still has to pay every year.
Wow.
For a spot.
Well,
so.
And for $1,500. That's actually a pretty good deal if you have an RV, because, all the hotels by the Speedway book up and they're, $500-$600 a night. So it pays for itself pretty quickly, but at $10,000, that's a hard pass for me.
No,
yeah.
So,
you don't have to. You don't have to stay. There's plenty of Airbnbs there too.
Sure.
So essentially, what you're saying is you may skip next year just because you just need a break from it, and it lost some of its energy.
It depends on what the weather is like, honestly, because this year it was about 85 degrees. So it got about 70, and 70 is not quite cool enough, and it was kind of muggy. So it had that mist, and you would wake up, like I would actually have to, I don't have AC, I have heat in my van, but I don't have an AC unit. And I do have one, but I didn't feel like bringing it. And I had to get up in the middle of the night and turn on the AC to pull the moisture out of the, I guess from all the hot breathing and stuff at nighttime.
How bad were the mosquitoes? Because I know they've been horrible because of all the rain and everything.
They weren't bad at all.
That's good.
I think
how bad was the hot breathing at night?
I was waiting I thought Casey would have been the first one.
A low-hanging fruit right there.
Not bad. That wasn't bad either. So yeah, that's what I did. And Savannah came up on I think Friday, Saturday, and it's cool just to hang out. Like, you're pretty much camping, but I may skip next year, and we'll see what Rolex, because I think Rolex is in January. We'll see what that plays out
Kudos to Savannah's shirt. That shirt's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And what else you guys got? What did you guys do on the weekend?
Speaking of spending a lot of money here, weren't we going to talk about some Seikos?
Yes.
Yes, we are going to talk about Seikos, because we all love Seikos, but they have lost their ever-loving mind on pricing. They just keep going up and up and up. Everything keeps going up, but they're going up a lot. It used to be Grand Seiko. You want to upscale Seiko, it's not even really a comparison. You get a Grand Seiko, but you threw up one the other day that's like $6,000 for a regular Seiko.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. For the Prospects line, their Prospects line, it's kind of this whole well-rounded line of watches that are air, mountains, and sea, right? So there's a whole range of watches from kind of on the dressier side to the sporty side, and then there's Sports 5 and such. But, I got the email saying, hey, check out the new Prospects line, and clicked on it, and the first watch I saw was $6,000. that's right in line with the starting prices for, well, hell,
Rolex.
not even the starting prices for these Grand Seikos. And then, you're talking all of a sudden, am I going to get a Seiko that's going to be more expensive or compete with a Tudor or a Rolex
Air King or
So, well,
Explorer?
at $6,000, things are coming down a little bit. You can go to a site like Crown and Caliber or get a really nice, Bob's watches, get a secondhand, GMT for, 11, 12.
Well, shit, you can get an Air King for, I don't know what they are now. I think they're $7,000. This thing is not going to hold its value in 20 years.
Not at all.
No. I mean, it's a nice looking watch, but it's not $6,000 nice. And this, I mean, when you look at this right here versus my Seiko 5 GMT, from a visual perspective, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, yes, Seiko nerds will look at it and know the difference, but anybody else looking at it, it looks just like the one that I have that I spent $500 on and not $6,000.
Yeah. I'm looking through all the features and such, and I just can't see why. Why is this a 6K?
I think they're a little late to the game, hopping on the watch buzz. I think that was probably about a year ago, and I mean, yeah, you got a 10 bar. I see that one 10 bar.
Yeah, it's a spring drive. I mean, that's that, but again, that's kind of what's disappointing to me is because Seiko makes really great automatic movements. Spring drive has always been the marker for the Grand Seiko. That's what made Grand Seiko so special, was the spring drive. And the only way to get that spring drive, which is an amazing movement, was to spend the money to get to that Grand Seiko echelon. And now you can get it in the regular Seiko. And
let's face it, these watches, a watch is nothing but men's jewelry, right? I mean,
correct.
Right, guys?
Absolutely.
They all tell time. So for that kind of money, there's so many different things that we're going to buy, whether it's a Rolex, a Breitling, a Tag. I'm not buying a Seiko, and I'm a big Seiko fan, but I'm only a vintage Seiko fan, unless there's something that's like, and the reason why the vintage Seiko fan is that I am is, one, for James. Two is like, hey, if you find good deals, you can still make money on them. And I do like the nostalgic look, and you can tell when you look at that Seiko watch how a lot of manufacturers copied their design.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I learned from James. I mean, as we got more and more into these watches, like, oh yeah, that was the first this. Oh yeah, okay, I can see.
Yeah, first,
especially like Tag. I believe Tag is a real proponent of taking the Seiko designs of the '60s and mimicking them in their design.
So what's interesting is I just came across a minty mint 62 Mas, right? So Seiko 62 Mas. Yes, the one I showed you, and the asking price, which is a little negotiable, was $5,750.
What? That's it?
For a 62 Mas in minty condition with,
I would have bought that
with the original box.
It's still probably for sale.
It's probably still for sale. I'm not doing that right now, but my choice between this SNR 055 that we originally showed for 6K versus a 62 Mas, that's a no-brainer for me, because that 62 Mas is only going to go up, where this will only go down.
Here's another price point comparison. Looking on the watch charts, a 22 Air King for 7,100, a 04, which is not the most desirable, Explorer 2, but it's 5,500. And so I think it again just showcases. I think those GMTs look really, really good, and if they were $1,000, $1,500, I think that's a hell of a watch. But as you always saying, at $6,000, there's so many more better options out there.
Well, I mean, case in point, I bought my brand new Speedmaster for $7,500.
Yeah,
and it was brand. It was last year, 2023, brand new. For 70. I mean, But what I was surprised was, we've heard that Seiko was kind of trying to push it up market for a little while now. I didn't realize it was $6,000. So then I go to their website today to pull some photos, and like these right here, the King Seikos, these were anywhere between $3,000 and $3,800 on the King Seikos. And then,
I mean, look at that watch. That looks like a Casio or some fossil. I mean,
Right.
The King
But-
Seiko markation sucks too.
Right.
yeah.
And then beyond that, so I dug deeper, and they have their Astron line, and all of these here. Now, granted, these are solar, and there's a lot of technology that goes into them, but these right here were like almost $2,000, $3,000, and I'm like,
And that to
man.
me looks like it's a citizen watch. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, this
Exactly.
Yeah, some of this stuff is over the top. I'm a huge Seiko fan, obviously, but some of the stuff can go too much.
So I don't know. I just
let
think.
Let me show you this.
dead air.
I can cut that out.
So while he's looking at that
show
I am
up?
actually wearing a Seiko today. Oh yeah, I'll see.
There
here.
it is.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
that's
nice.
the one you showed me.
This is the
That's
one.
mint. Original band, or is that aftermarket?
I
It's gotta
believe
be
it's after.
yeah, it's the same one that's on my wrist. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is that the hard plastic one? I had one of those bands. I think I took it
No,
off.
it's very rubbery.
Oh, okay.
But look at the condition on this. This thing is
No,
almost
the
60
loom-
years old.
And
Almost
that's
60
the
years
original loom?
old. Yeah. Right. So
Wow.
that thing had to be sitting in a drawer for years.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
$5,750 for this. I'm all over that. If I'm
And that's
in
the thing.
market.
Someone looks at that watch and you're going to say, "Oh, what year is it? 1960? What?"
68, 65.
Yeah. So you're going to be, "Oh, what is that? What kind of watch is that? Oh, 65. Oh, wow." And there's a conversation.
Yeah.
And there's
Mhm.
potentially a new Seiko lover collector that you just, converted because they're going to look and go, "What the hell?" That's how James got me. So, I agree with you guys. The Seikos are just getting out of price. And I'm also noticing too, I think even some of our people that we get Seikos from are through the roof. A lot of the auction sites, there's one particular in Australia.
hot. They're
There
hot,
are-
Kevin.
Mhm.
They're coming on strong. People are finding out about these Seikos. Now, is that from us? Are we driving up the market?
No, because we never say who it is. But the other thing too is I think they're setting the reserve time. And here's the other thing too is I'm not seeing as many people bidding on it. So you will get the person that bid one or two, but it used to be a huge line of people bidding on that watch. So just set the no reserve. It's going to get to that point. But I still think that people they're paying a good premium for the watch. So they have to set a reserve. So not because the market is what it is. And, someone finds a watch these days. I mean, let's face it, the internet's the internet. So you can buy a watch that you find at Goodwill and you're like, oh, let me search on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
when we had Josh on, he mentioned the same thing. It's not like he's getting them cheap. He's still buying them for a nice penny in order, and there's a margin in there for him, but it certainly, it can't be huge, can't be 30, 40%.
No, and that's why I think you have to find something that is like that one or any of the other ones, original band, the Loom's perfect, because there's so many shitty Seikos out there that I see on Facebook Marketplace, on Instagram, on eBay. And that's the other thing too, is I look on some of the things, the Instagram and the brokers that we deal with, and I go on Instagram because they're all overseas. I go on Instagram, I can find a lot of times the price cheaper and better examples of them on eBay, which is taking 13.5%.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Well, with Seiko, I think you got a couple different types. Either if you want to go upscale, you go the vintage route, because those are going to, you're definitely not going to lose your money. You're either going to maintain its value or it's going to go up. Not that we buy this to make money, but it's always nice if you decide to flip it, or you buy a really good watch for $500.
Well, Matt, to your point,
then you just wear it.
Yeah, to your point, as far as that goes, everybody would love to buy something that doesn't go down in value.
Sure.
So if you can do that, especially if you're a hobbyist, right? How many of these watches you grab, you like it, you enjoy it, you pass it on to the next owner. So if you can keep a nice balance there where you're not losing, or you may make $100 on it, then your hobby is something that's not sucking your wallet, right?
Absolutely. And we talked about it. Kevin said it perfect. This is men's jewelry. All right. We wear them because we like them. But I mean, at the end of the day, I like having a lot because you mix things up. I just picked up, and we talk about next owner, because we all are one family here. We go through and we get stuff from each other. So I picked up 3 watches from James, and these are from their Recraft line. They're not expensive watches, a couple $100, but there's different visuals and you can mix things up. And then when you're done, you sell it and you move on. So
vintage vibe. And that's the beauty of these Recraft. They have the vintage vibe.
Right. And they're automatic movements. They're not a quartz movement. I mean, they're well built. This blue one's really cool. I actually just ordered a really cool blue band from that same Pepita company.
I wish we could see the crystal on that because it's angled, which is super neat.
Hard to tell. It's got this detail in the crystal, but the camera can't pick it up. And then this one's really funky. I love this. And I know you added this band, James, and kudos to you, buddy, because this band is the most comfortable band I've ever worn. It's really comfortable. Good. So I mean, you pick these things up, a couple $100, and they're great. They're not going to fall apart on you. They're not going to stop working, and then when
you're going to tell time. Go figure.
Yeah, exactly.
But I knew you'd be all over the orange one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what are you guys wearing today? Since we haven't done this in a long time.
Oh gosh, let's see here. I'll
start.
Go, man, go.
I got my Willard on.
There you go.
I've been actually wearing it 2 weeks in a row. This is my second week wearing it. Still my favorite vintage that I picked up. And one thing that I wore my Rolex a couple weeks ago. And one of the things that I've found that I really enjoy is the weight of a watch. And some of these Seikos, some of them tend to be a little light and almost rattly. And the Willard's just a well-built watch.
Solid.
I think it's solid. The case is heavy and has a bit more substance to it than some of the other ones I have.
And for the time, I think it would be a little bit larger case.
Yeah,
if you're
agreed.
Looking at 76, 77, 78.
Yeah. So I am gravitating. I've been kind of narrowing what I think I like. Because when you start, your spread is super wide, right? You're just like, all this stuff is so cool.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of narrowing in, and I've found that I like something that's got a bit of a weight onto it and feels solid. Not to say I won't be going and continuing to buy some of the other ones, but I really, really enjoy wearing this one.
Don't forget that in the 70s, these weren't expensive watches. They were solid watches that anybody could go out and buy. You can go to your local department store at the time and grab them, right? And they were given for graduation gifts, first watches, things like that. So it just happened to be that at some point, watches kind of got boring. And it made these look like superstars as far as their design aesthetic goes. So, yeah, I dig it. I am wearing a 6139-6015 from 1971.
There you go.
All right. So look at the blue on that.
That blue is beautiful, man.
That's
it just pops.
the Bruce Lee, yeah?
No, this is not the Bruce Lee. It is not. My Bruce Lee is the different blue one that I have.
Got it.
So, 71, Minty Resist. It's from May 71, 19 millimeter band, but it's got the original band on there, kind of the rice band.
Yes.
Maybe that's not the right term for that, but
I don't have one with that band
stainless
on
steel
it.
bracelet. Yeah, I dig it. It's super comfortable, but yeah, that blue, that just shimmers.
I'll go next. I am wearing a Seiko 5 Rally Sports. Seiko 5. Reference number 5126-8130, March of 69. I think this watch is one of the watches that I saw on your wrist, James, and that's what kind of made me fall in love with it, or the whole brand. It was either that one or another Rally, but I converted to that band. I think the one that has checkers around the side in the Rally version. But love this, same as you, Casey. This watch is, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit.
I'm a big fan of the square case and the round dial. I've always liked that.
You like that that Porsche thing on the side there?
I do.
The reflection of the
there you
heavy, super heavy. I do have the original band, but I went ahead and I love these bands now that James turned me on to them. Super comfortable. I don't have to freak out that since
Micro adjustments and all that on these steel bands, forget it.
Yeah,
you just slap it on
you
there.
sweat a little bit. Okay, you loosen it up some. Super, super comfortable. So, and it kind of, sometimes the bands say clink, 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 and you, I don't know. So it is heavy. It's a heavy watch, though.
Yeah. Casey, you should take a look at that one for sure, because it does have the heft that you were saying you like.
I mean, it's definitely beefy. So
yeah, it's kind of, the turtle, it's got that big feel to it as well. So
a lot of the dive watches certainly are a bit heavier, but that one obviously is the sport timer. But I anything heavy that's got some chunk, I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I had on the blue Seiko that we talked about earlier.
Oh, can you get the angle on that?
Let's see if I can get the
angle.
yeah,
there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, it's got this like really cool
cut in it, right?
Like cut in it, on both sides.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about that. Plus, that really blue does not disappoint.
No. So it's
that's have you seen the old ones like that? They almost have like the diamond cut on them. They're like pink or blue. They're just hardy because they stick out so much. They always got scratched pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I've always trying to find a good example of that watch. And I don't know. Yesterday I was doing something. I'll talk to you about it and talk to you guys about it once we move on. But,
by the way, that 62 Moss is sold.
Excellent.
Unless there's
that's
another
great.
one.
No. I thought about it there for a moment, but then I realized that it's tax season coming up soon.
Yeah, certainly.
That's right.
I had reached out to somebody in England, if you all remember, about a 62 Moss, and they were wanting like $9,000 or $11,000, something.
Yes, it was something crazy. I think it was 9.
Yeah. It was super expensive. So that's why I was so shocked when you said whatever you said, 5,500 or whatever, like that.
57.50.
That's a hell of a good price.
Yeah.
Especially if he's somewhat negotiable, which he always seems to be. That you hell of a price.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Now I'm actually glad that it was sold, because you keep going back to it and you're like, okay, so maybe if I move this over here, if I got rid of this, then I can just grab this.
Hey James, you could have just offered some of your other watches to some of us.
Yeah, I know.
What's it called? Rotate your collection.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So speaking of collection. Go ahead, James.
Go for it. No, I'm good.
So you know how we always busted on the, how sometimes you go down a rabbit hole and you see Instagram posts and stuff like that. So I saw an Instagram post yesterday of some guy charging. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Share. Okay. I found let's see here. This guy right here, they're doing mods on these. You guys can see the screen. No?
Let's go, Boomer.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, okay, let's see here. This one. Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Can you see it? There you go. So people are doing these mods on a moon watch.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're taking
the
a case.
Swatch moon watch.
Yes, the Swatch moon watch.
Yeah, so let's make sure that we're not talking about the actual moon watch.
Let's see. Can you see that I just changed it to AliExpress?
No.
Yep.
Oh, you can, right?
No, still Google.
Okay, so let me change this here. Stop share. And let me share.
You can edit this, right, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? Or I can just leave it in. What does it matter?
Yeah. Okay, here you go.
There you go.
So, $1,430. I went ahead and bought it on AliExpress. They have some samples. There's a guy on Instagram charging $450 for this without steel band. I did read the reviews. They say this is a little pixelated. I did not get this. You can kind of see the.
So you ordered a setup. So you're going to build your own watch.
I'm going to put my thing, and these guys you guys can make fun of my pictures. Here's some guys that have done it.
That's fine.
There's not a lot of versions or videos on this.
That's cool.
So I'm going to destroy my moon watch.
Excellent.
And so you're just putting it in a metal case,
here's the thing: the bio ceramic, the watch you have to break the watch apart, to open it. So I'm gonna probably break the watch apart. There is one thing I did see.
Make sure you film it so that we can create some content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to talk to some of my guys at work and see if they can show me how to set up, or maybe I'll use one of these cameras. I will tell you this before I go even further down the rabbit hole. They do make bootleg.
Yes.
Swatch.
Did you order one? That's what I would have done.
I think I'm going to do that. So the case actually comes apart on those.
Yeah.
And you don't have to destroy. And they're like $100. Some people are finding them for $30.
The movement, the movement is absolute shit, but it does keep time.
Well, I heard it's a VX63 movement or 64 movement, which is, I mean, hey, who cares, right? So I don't know. These watches here, the Moon watch the Swatch X Omega watches, they're shit anyways. And a lot of people are complaining. They're like, "Oh, you took that watch, and why don't you just go buy a $500 watch?" Because I went down to Reddit like Casey does and went down this rabbit hole, and people was like, "Bro, it's a $300 freaking watch. Like, come on, like." The crystal is plastic. Actually, on the bootleg one, it's a sapphire crystal, opposed to the plastic that Swatch has. Yeah. So there's some kind of odds and ends. So yeah, I think I'm gonna.
I'd grab the $28 one and try it.
Yeah, I am gonna try to find one on Morcata. I think I saw it, but I'm always sketched out about buying stuff on these sites. But I went ahead and just used PayPal and. We'll see. I'm going to wait till I actually get the case first and the band and check the quality out. But there's a lot of people that have done this, and I'm not paying $450 for when I have all the equipment.
No.
So,
I'm interested in seeing how that comes out. That'd be really neat.
I know the photos you sent me looked freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited. It gives me something to do.
Do you have one of the actual photos that you had shared with us? Because that was way more clear than.
Maybe Matt has it.
I probably have it.
Yeah, I think Matt has it.
Let's see.
And it's already shipped, so I think it will get here like 4 or 5 days. It's amazing how. Speaking of
how small the world has become.
So I've noticed. So Bert was telling me about prices of like what's that oil? Brad Peen or
Brad Penn.
Brad Penn. So I do use that oil. And I have to get some other oils and stuff like that. So I have 3 distributors through my other company that I go through.
Interesting.
Okay. And
sorry, you sent me it was a Instagram reel is what you sent me. So that's what I was trying to see.
So I go and start going through all my distributors. And I think the world is definitely changing because Amazon is becoming the new distributors. And I don't think there's going to be a place for distributors anymore in the car industry because all my distributors via Warpack, FCP, Euro, Turn 14, I was looking at buying parts. And I'm even doing this now where a company will use one particular company. They buy a part. They say they're selling it for 20% cheaper than what I get it for. The manufacturers are going direct on eBay. And I'm sorry, on Amazon. And they're bumping up the price. Yeah, and eBay. And they're bumping up the price for stuff. And I'll use this brake fluid, for example. It was $70 or $89 retail. I go to my distributors, it's $76. I go on Amazon, and it's $66 and $65 with free shipping. Yeah. Same thing with the oil. I went through to get some Mobil 1 040 for my other car because I used it. Speaking of that, I did not know, guys, that our cars, like a 3.8 or 4.0, like a new 991, 992, they say that they use up to a quart of oil after 1,000 to 1,500 miles is acceptable, and an air cooled is 500 to 700 miles because of the.
Wow. If you read the manual, even 997 says that it's acceptable. But I'll tell you the issues. Being that I have that engine built and I'm a dork, I got into a lot of reading about oils. First off, I would never use Mobil 1. If you do the used oil analysis, that stuff shears down pretty quickly under its weight.
Well, you have to use C40 or C40
because you're still on warranty.
Warranty,
which,
right?
You know, I've never owned a car with warranty, so. But if I think again, my research, do your own, but Driven oil is really fucking good, and they use American oil. Anyhow, where was I going with this? Oh, why
oil
it uses so
consumption.
much. Yeah, why it uses so
Is it
much
because
oil.
of the boxer motor? Because Subarus do the same thing.
40's
No,
a bitch, Casey. Memory's
It's
going.
because these thinner oils are built for efficiency and MPGs, and so they allow the oil. The oil is designed to slip past the rings and burn off.
Well, okay. How about an air cooled? So I would say yes, but how about you're using a 2050 on a air cooled motor and
20
a
2050 super thick, and so
You
they're
just said thin motors, thin. So we use
so in the
use
in
a
the newer
040
cars,
on a
in our new cars, using like a 040.
So it's getting past the rings.
Is right. I don't know about the air cooled. All I can say is those tolerances aren't the same as what's in our engines, and so the thicker oil to me makes sense because you've got to take up those that spacing. But that could also be why it burns at a similar or dissimilar rate, whatever your case may be.
And then I was talking to another guy about Subarus because it's not quite; it's about half of that. But do you think it's because of the way that because there's not a V?
I think it's their ring package. My understanding is that your ring package will determine more or less your engine wear overall and your oil consumption. If you're going, whatever you design that engine to be, obviously you're tailoring your oil selection to that specific use. But that these newer oils are designed to be to have a percent burn rate. And that's why it's so important on these new cars that they give you all this oil data at every startup, because you have to monitor the oil usage.
So speaking of that too, a lot of things like, how when we're talking about cars like idling for a long time and stuff like that, everyone, whether it's a new car, and I know race engines, we're talking, we're not talking they're rebuilding these motors, but these guys are letting those cars idle for 30 minutes to get oil temperatures up. And they're like, yeah, when we rebuild them, we don't have scoring on the cylinder walls.
I would say that they have tuned their ECUs to not have the rich conditions.
There's no ECUs. It's carbureted, buddy.
Oh, your carb stuff. Well, then that's a different scenario. But like in our cars with ECUs, they're trying to light up the cats, right? You're trying to get the cats up to temperature so they flood the engine with gasoline so that it burns back in the exhaust. You bring the cat up to temperature, therefore it's doing the emissions job. That is why you have that rich condition on startup. That is what washes your cylinders, is particularly in our flat engines, but also it was a big issue on, say, the 957 Cayennes. The early Cayennes had bore scoring issues as well. This has come up in Jaguars in the early 90s. This was an issue in a lot of different engines. But they dump so much oil in for emissions purposes, and that's why you should not just start the car and let it sit and idle under the rich condition. Once it's up to temperature, say you're in traffic, it's no problem. You're burning at the proper rate. It's flushing it out properly.
So you should not buy a car if you live in New York or any cold climates, because most people are turning on their cars, warming up their car before they get into the car for a half an hour with auto start.
Yep, correct. I would never do it. As you all know, I buy California cars because you just don't have those sort of scenarios.
Yeah, I was learning a lot, talking to a lot of the guys, because we talked about that, and I was looking at the different oils, because I know we use Valvoline and stuff like that, and I went down that rabbit hole as well, and I've talked to there's tons of people about oil, and I started using Rotilla on one car, so I used the Valvoline and the Weissach, but I've been using the Rotilla and the red car. So when I'll start doing oil analysis on it, but that motor hasn't been rebuilt, and there's a lot of guys who are like, hey, I use Rotilla, never had a problem. I do oil analysis on it. They showing me all the things. At least someone's doing that. What is it, like $30 or something like that? To $30, $40
$35 through.
Yeah,
I just use Blackstone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were using. So, anyways, back to the Amazon thing.
Yeah. I went through
Wow,
and I
that was
grabbed
a tangent, but it was good. It was
I
really
grabbed
good.
some screenshots of the Instagram reel. So this is them going through and starting to break it apart.
Yeah.
And they're cutting into the moon swatch to get the internals out. And then they
which I
go
would do it from
through
the back. Yep.
and here's a metal case with a rubber
That's
strap.
sweet looking. It's
It
very
is sweet
sweet.
looking.
Here's a metal.
And I love that.
That band, that rubber band, I have that on my watches. They're like $7.
Yeah.
There you go, another one. So that's the band that comes with it, $450.
Yep.
Just hey, it's a swatch watch. We'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna buy the bootleg one and see what
That's cool.
I can find. So that being said, I was looking at other things for stuff on Alibaba, and China's selling direct on Amazon as well now. So you don't even have to go to Alibaba for a lot of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A lot of battery stuff for my business. Luckily, I make a lot of my parts, and we covered this like 2 episodes ago. But now, and I've talked to other friends in the industry, they're doing the exact same thing. We go to Amazon and say, okay, what do we need to bolts or washers or something like that, especially for like McMaster Car. It's a great site.
Yeah, but the problem is you need 2 of them, and you got to order 200.
Yeah, but I had to. What the hell was I fixing the other day on my car?
Water pump.
Yeah, shit. I can't remember what it was, but I broke a bolt and I had to go to the Home Depot and I had to buy a box of 20. So I'm set now. I got some grade 10 bolts. But
you guys don't have an Ace hardware? I always find Ace has metric and stainless too. And you can buy one.
I'm sure that we do. I don't know where one is as close to me as the Depot.
Nice.
Convenience a lot of time wins.
Let's get back to talking about oil again. And what are you drinking there, Casey?
This stuff tonight. I'm drinking some Axe and Oak. It's out of Colorado
Axe
Springs.
body spray.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's out of Colorado Springs. So on one of my car purchases, I can't remember which, but Ashley and I flew out to California to get it. We always drive it back home, and we stop at cool places along the way. And so we stopped in Colorado Springs for the evening, went to a liquor store, and they turned me on to this as it was a local distillery. It's just been around since 2013. And when I opened this, I hated it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like it one bit. And I had not had it probably. We bought that car in 2018, probably in 5 years. And Ashley decided to alphabetize the bourbon closet, and it looks fantastic, by the way.
That is awesome. The most amazing thing I've heard in a long time.
It looks really nice. I'm really glad that she did that. But it allowed me to find stuff that I had not seen in years. And so I pulled this out over the weekend after she did that. And by God, it's pretty good.
So
it's pretty good.
It was opened. You opened it. So it's just been sitting there aging over 5 years. Now you have a different opinion of it.
I don't think it ages in the glass bottle.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't age at all. But it's a low proof. It's a 92 proof. This would have been, like I said, 5 or 6 years ago. So they would have been just 4, 5, 6 years old as a distillery at that time. So at that time they were mixing or blending, I should say, MGP with their own stuff. But this is good. This is just
is it because your palate has been refined, like smoking cigars or something like that 5 years ago? Why do you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I just drink more of it. I'm better at drinking it. And quite frankly, yes. But I think
some say refined, some say pickled.
Some people claim that the neck pour or the first pour out of a bottle is different, that it needs some oxygen on it. I don't know that I've ever really believed that.
Isn't that a wine thing?
Can you shake it?
But I will say it is much better than I remember it being, and I'm glad I've had a couple glasses out of it now this week, and it's really good stuff.
Excellent.
It's not expensive. It's like $40. So it's worth picking up if you see it out.
Nobody
Cool.
aerates bourbons.
So so if you get a high proof pour, a lot of people will suggest pouring it in your glass, letting it sit for 2
Right.
minutes.
Oh yeah. Like
As I
like
knocked this
our
over.
friend, he gets that Ocean's Sea one.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jefferson
gosh.
Oceans. Yeah.
Gimmick.
Yeah, and Chris also the same thing, and like you just literally let it sit there for like, no, let it sit. It's like, oh my, what? I want to drink this thing. I don't want to let it sit for 45 minutes. Come on, still a joke to this day.
I don't have time. I don't have time for that. But I do think that sometimes a little bit of oxygen can mellow it out, and I think
Let it breathe. Is that what the terminology is? Let it breathe.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm referencing as far as opening the bottle and letting it sit there for 5 years. Something's happening.
It breathed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
See, I want to breathe, so I don't drink it.
Yeah. So I just finished a gift here of this Jameson Crested. So you can't get that here. You have to get it outside of the United States. But essentially, it is the version of Jameson 10-year-old. So if you can find that, that would be great. But really fantastic, really rich, triple
Peaty?
distilled Irish whiskey. So
Is it
Very cool.
smoky or peaty or?
it's got
I guess okay.
really sweet caramel to it. It's just got a strong punch, and then it just is super smooth. Doesn't feel young, is what I'm saying. You know, so it's good, and it's now gone. So now I have to go someplace else to get it.
You don't get those P Diddy whiskeys.
They
They feel too young.
I'm not touching that one.
Just ask.
So
me.
And Matt,
too
Matt, what are
young
you
and not
drinking?
approved of.
Okay.
Well, I had a Diet Coke or I had a
Vintage.
bottle of water. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
From the fine springs of Zephyr Hills.
Yes, this is from the fine springs of Wesley Farms.
Oh,
It says
okay.
BJ's.
Oh.
Not to be confused with Wesley Chapel, because that place is a mess. So.
Mhm.
Anything
Well-
for you, Kev? Nothing.
Jack and Diet.
There you go.
There you go.
I actually
Vintage
had to
Jack
take
and Diet.
my Jack. Somebody was talking about that at one of the. Oh, we went to at HSR. We went to a thing and they didn't have any Jack, and I'm like,
What?
what is like?
That's like a mainstay for everywhere.
So one of the guys actually is a liquor rep. He
It's like they force it on you.
Yeah, he oversees all the airports. I think over 600 or something. He has territories. His name's Kevin too. Super cool guy, and that's what he does. And he goes.
I wish we knew a cool Kevin.
You know, they try to take out Jack for somebody who's giving them better pricing, and he's like, "No, we're not taking Jack Daniels off of." He goes, "All I need is Jack and Tito's, and I can make and one rum, and I could make money. Why do you guys want to keep on doing this?" Because I guess Jack didn't want to play ball with, and they're like, "No, we're gonna keep Jack." So, like Savannah said a long time ago when she was young, this one guy at a fancy hotel in Savannah, I think we told you guys the story. He was like, "Yeah, we don't have Jack," and Savannah was like, "That's like," I think she was like 12. She goes, "That's like not having toilet paper. Who doesn't have Jack?"
Right.
And we got up and left.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's like, "Let's go, Dad." I'm like, "Okay, you're 12."
Awesome. On that note,
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to show you guys. Just it's too late because I already ordered it. But this is the houndstooth band that I bought for this blue Seiko that I am wearing, and we're gonna see how it comes in. But I dig it. So it's a blue houndstooth. So
Sharp.
That's nice.
yeah. So and then I got the cream and the cream version to go with my Omega. So
these bands, are they the self-releasing band where you can just put it on quick release, or
What's that?
don't think
What's a
about it.
self-releasing band?
Slap bracelet.
so if you could flip that over, there'd be a little notch that you can the spring is built in.
The spring is built in. I don't know. It doesn't say if it does or not. I'm going to lean probably towards it doesn't.
It looks sharp though.
But yeah,
It's
so
gonna look
I got that one, and then I ordered also the cream one that goes that looks good with the Omega.
Did you get the Rolex along with it?
No, did not get the Rolex along with it. But these guys have tartan prints. They got denim. They got really cool herringbone stuff. They got
Pasha for James.
They don't have any Pasha. I mean, they have,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those.
gray and black. So this is the one that I ordered for my Omega right here.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Great.
So let's see how they look in person. So
Awesome.
Nobody's doing anything with any cars or anything like that?
I did all my maintenance items on the turbo.
you did. You worked over the weekend.
Yeah.
No, I'm about to break in and install the
Dash
short shift kit.
or-
No, I'm gonna do the short shift kit because I have it in my. I've had it for months now, so I'm gonna, now that Farron's over, I'm gonna go ahead and just get into it. Maybe this weekend or next weekend.
And James,
get it taken out.
you're not driving your Jackie Blue or anything like that? You've been working?
Yeah,
it's
no,
driving
I've just
weather
been busy.
right now.
Yeah, I know. I've been
Yeah.
busy. You know, after foreign, I haven't touched a car.
Really?
No, I haven't. Nope. So,
It's a shame.
yeah, I'll get out
I'm the
there
other way
soon.
around. I've been driving mine more since firing. You know, like
Yeah.
I need to drive
I'm trying to
more.
drive mine, like,
Yeah.
but unfortunately I tore it apart, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
adding stuff here and there. So Casey, we touched base. I just got my my
Ducktail.
Ducktail.
Nice.
I don't know why I call it duck bill all the time, but
I do the same
ducktail.
thing. Matter of fact, I did it, and then one day James like, "You mean a ducktail?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's exactly what I mean. I don't know why I
I
call
just
it
got it
duckbill."
done, got it painted. The guy painted it, so
Looks sharp.
I'm gonna install it probably tomorrow, and we're making some.
So was
what are
the
those things?
fitment on it was good? Did you test fit or?
Yeah, we did test fit. The test fit is never good on those because
They're
what we
terrible.
have found out
Yeah.
is because the fiberglass, when it comes out of the mold, is always like this.
Yeah.
It fits good. We got it to fit so that the gap's not as, man, you should have went to the race. Mine fits fantastic because, I mean, it was a quarter of an inch on one side and a 16th of an inch on another. So mine is at least in the middle. But when you do, like, if you just set it down without latching it, it's like kind of like this, and you have to latch it. So we got it pretty damn good. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm doing that, and I'm doing those a grill for which James, I have to talk to you about a grill for the air cooled. So we're working on that.
Nice.
See, I want a
Excellent.
New
ducktail for the.
speakers.
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw the
speakers.
speakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those things were like just powdered. Like
Wow.
put new speakers and new speaker grills, and what else have I done?
When I
What
did,
speakers did you go with?
Kickers,
Okay.
Amazon.
there you go.
And I
Nothing
got
wrong with
some, Amazon, and I'm trying to think grills I got on Amazon. And shout out to Dave, your boy. So I made some floorboards for my car, but I had to, the carpet goes up,
Mm-hmm.
up at the footwell, so I had to cut with some scissors, and made a template. Said, "Hey, I want this." And I was talking to his shop manager, not him, and he goes, "Why do I have a set of carpets and a piece of cardboard?" Had it done super quick. Got him back
Excellent.
in the mail. Fit perfect. So that finished it off.
Yeah, it
Really
looks
nice.
fantastic. You're going to
Yeah, it
have
looks
to post up some of those photos. Maybe we put it on our Instagram here.
Yeah.
That
I
looks
will.
really great.
It does look really, really good.
Yeah.
It gives it that rich look. I'm kind of in the, I don't know, guys. I really want to, with all the stuff that I'm making for it and stuff, and the interior's like so cool with the Space Invader seats and the Shieldman seats and all that. I don't know if I should make the front or the outside of the car, keep it racy, or keep it,
It's
or
good.
really
It's good.
take it to get it a refined look, like painted and
So
Don't
It's your
you
rally
that's
car.
exactly
That's
what
your
happened.
that's the
rally
thing.
car.
So I feel Kevin though. I know what he's talking about because again, my car's got the crazy wrap on it, and I'm talking about taking it off because I want to do that, tartan print on the seats, and I want to give it some more touches.
That's
and it's
different
just
though,
too
Matt.
much. So
That's
yeah.
different. That's different. Kevin
I bought a rally
got
car to
a
put
rally
on it,
car, and he's
I know.
trying to pretty it up.
Yeah.
So just make it racy as fuck and go for it.
Which
So I
might
was
say,
going to do.
I said he was going to do that. By the way,
Yes.
he did. He did.
I said he would do that.
And I actually bought a pin because when I went to the races, Bert was the one marking the tires for the valve sim because they don't turn for speed; they turn in braking. And he was putting they put little on like a Dunlop or a Hoosier. They have these little flags or whatever. They put a little dot for each session they were going out. So I told him, I said, "Hey, I bought the marker." I said, "Be honest with me." Brutally honest with me, because you normally are, but I don't ask for it, but this time I'm actually asking for it. I was going to put the lines and the RF for right front on the tire and a little dot on the thing, and he's like, "No, I said, but that's like what he goes. What are you going to tell people? Yeah, these are my scrubs that I just put on the car. I'm like, but that's what gives it the look. And he's like,
Yeah.
Nah,
it
got
looks
the look. That's the thing. What you don't realize is that no one is looking at the details like you. They're just taking in the full package and going, "Oh man, that is so cool." They snap their photo and they're moving on. It is literally a 10-footer car, right?
You're not
People are
going to get
taking it in 10 feet until you come across some other Porsche nerd who will go through it. But the majority of people are just like, "That's badass."
You're not going to get a paper template and some white spray paint and hit idlers on your tire.
That's what I actually said. I said, well, should I do the Bridgestone on it and white paint? He goes,
those are
Kevin,
cool. That would be
it's
cool.
not Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Mr. Nakai.
No, it'd
we're
still
not,
be
we're not
cool.
doing that.
It would still be cool.
Yeah.
That would be very hot rod for sure.
Yeah,
It would be, but he's like, no, that's like Japanese, like racer stuff. And I'm like,
Oh, I've seen it on Porsches.
yeah. No,
I
I agree with James. I've seen it on stuff too. I just think you do it a little nicer than spray paint.
Well,
we'll see.
just
what
don't
about,
show up in that outfit again.
Well, no, but there's several companies out there that they actually make the decals,
Yeah, the letters, you glue them
the
on.
rubber.
Yeah.
You glue them on.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
terrible. You see I know Casey, you're going to chime in. You see the Mopar guys with that shit on there.
Hoosiers.
Well, they
Actually,
sell
Hoosiers
the
actually on
pen, right? They sell the white pen so you can fill it in
Yeah, but
yourself.
to put Michelin on the car and it's freaking Vulcan or something
I
like
don't know.
that.
Every one of these Instagrams that I see with Nakai and he's getting the template and he's out there spray painting the tire for these
And that's the thing,
RWDs.
the overspray.
So, oh yeah.
The Falcon car was there, the tire, and it was like
BMW, right? Was it BMW?
No, it was a Porsche.
Okay.
And I was looking at it, and Mike and Aaron had told me I needed to wrap my 992 because it's the same bluish color. It's just I would only have to do the green. And I was looking at it, and they're all running Michelin because let's face it, you have to run Michelin, that tire. And I told the guys, I'm like, yeah, that's why I didn't want to run it because I'm not running Falcons. And he's like, yeah, Kevin, because these guys are in a Michelin sponsored race, so they have to run those tires, but they're sponsored by Falcon. So I was like, should I wrap the car? But
yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Decisions.
Yeah, we're going to see it's going to show up in our little feed here. Like, this is what I did, guys.
Yep.
So
yeah, you still hey, it's coming up. I mean, when are you going to bring Jackie Blue down here to put that wrap on there?
I know. I do. Yeah. I do need to. Let me get through a few things. This week I'm celebrating my daughter's 21st birthday, so we're getting together this weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 21.
Well, if you come down to Kevin's, you got to let me know. I'll come over.
Oh yeah, for sure. What's
that?
Yeah,
you know, Matt's up for a birthday.
Hey, listen. Swear to God, man, my wife has ruined my reputation. Woo! My wife has ruined my reputation. Okay. I'm now the birthday king.
Yeah, we can't top that. We're out.
No.
Wrap it up, man.
Yep.
All right, guys. Listen, thanks for listening. Instagram, Whiskey Watches the Wheels. Send us an email, contact@whiskeywatchwheels.com. You know where to find us. Got any questions, anything, just let us know. And on that note, we will catch y'all later, all right? Peace out. Bye, guys.